Now, shocking details emerging of the Indian diplomat Devyani Khobragade's arrest in New York. Sources have told NDTV that she was strip searched and held in a cell with common criminals and drug addicts. Now, government sources have also told NDTV that India is mulling reciprocal steps to convey a clear message that the treatment to its diplomat is unacceptable. NDTV's Nidhi Razdan joins us with more details. Nidhi, we already had the snubbing by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha for that American delegation, and now more steps are going to be taken.
Well, this is escalating, a diplomatic row that is escalating between India and the United States, Gargi. And what government officials have told us this morning is that reciprocal steps are being considered by India, which may take place as soon as later this evening. And this is to convey, as you pointed out, that in the strongest possible terms that what happened with Devyani Khobragade was completely unacceptable. India has, in fact, already protested very strongly at her arrest and the way she was treated when it summoned the U.S. Ambassador Nancy Powell a few days ago. In addition to that, we also saw yesterday the National Security Advisor Shiv Shankar Menon and Lok Sabha Speaker Meera Kumar. They were to meet a senior U.S. congressional delegation. 5 U.S. Congressmen are here visiting India. Those meetings were cancelled as a mark of protest to convey very clearly that India was not happy about what had happened and that India was protesting. So it is escalating. We are still trying to find out what those steps, those retaliatory steps that India is considering could be. But it is very clear from government sources here this morning that this is not a matter that is being taken lightly, and that there will be steps that will be taken possibly by this evening.
And Nidhi, what are you hearing from your sources? What has the reaction been from the American side? Are they surprised that this matter has escalated in this manner?
I don't know if they are surprised about it. I'm sure they would have anticipated that there would be some fallout of this, because there are, according to them, a different definition of whether diplomatic immunity applies to Devyani or not. But the Indian side is clear that they feel this has completely violated all international norms on diplomatic immunity, and that she was doing her duty as a diplomat and therefore should not have been arrested the way that she was. I think more than the arrest now, the issue is the way she was treated otherwise, by being kept in a cell with drug addicts, by being subject to DNA swabbing, being strip searched, handcuffed in front on the street when she was dropping her kids off to school. So all of these things actually in total are adding up, and that is why India has reacted very sharply to this, and is expected to react even more strongly today.
All right, Nidhi Razdan there giving us the latest on the arrest of Devyani Khobragade and how India plans to react. Well, joining us now is Ronan Sen, former ambassador to the US. So thank you for speaking to NDTV. Ever since this incident took place, we've seen many shocked reactions from Indian diplomats, former and many of them retired. They're shocked at the way Devyani was treated.
Yes, absolutely. And it's natural. This reaction is quite natural. Because the treatment which was meted out to her is it's not just unacceptable, but unprecedented. I don't remember a single case. I've been in this business for a 4.5-decade career in dealing with foreign relations, and and we should. I've been a strong advocate of our relations with the United States, but no such respecting country can go on with business as usual with such a kind of incident taking place.
Right, sir. But there have been those who pointed out in India as well as abroad that she did forge those details in that visa, and she's just being treated according to the law in the US. Even NDTV spoke to the Home Department there, and they said that the rules were followed during the arrest.
Well, what I pointed out, if you go into the legalities, there are different aspects. There is, somebody was just pointing out about diplomatic immunity. There is a difference. We have 2 separate conventions. One is the Vienna Convention on covering diplomats and diplomatic immunity. This is not a question of diplomatic immunity, but this is a certain right of a consular agent. And in that also, I don't want to get into this nitpicking. Like for instance, in the pursuance of your duties, you have certain privileges or certain rights. But and we are on duty, all our consular agents as well as diplomats are on duty 24/7. So there, I don't want to go on nitpicking, but what I said is that, if you apply your norms, I'm not interested what the American authorities do with their own citizens. But if you accept certain international conventions, we expect certain basic courtesies to be extended. Like, for instance, they unilaterally earlier, when I was ambassador, they withdrew certain tax privileges. We did likewise in the United States. Then they were restored. We did likewise, in India, at my strong recommendation. What I'm saying is that what has happened is happened. It is something which has to be condemned in the strongest terms, but we cannot allow this to proceed.
All right, Mr. Sen, very briefly, last word. A diplomat, an American diplomat of Devyani's level in India, are they accorded diplomatic immunity?
This question has not. What I said is this is a consular agent. Devyani was a consular agent. A consular agent is entitled to certain courtesies and privileges. We believe, I believe, I'm not saying we as, I'm saying as on the basis of my experience, as our ambassador to virtually all top countries in the world, I believe that this has been breached. But it's not a question of legal interpretation. The type of behavior, whatever they do with their own citizens, or with the IMF Director General, who's an international civil servant, I'm not concerned. I'm concerned with a manner. No Indian consular agent can be treated in this manner, and this should not be permitted. And we have to take corrective action.
Right, strong words there from former Ambassador Ronan Sen. Now, shocking details have emerged of just how Devyani was treated after her arrest. And NDTV's learned she was strip searched and held in a cell with common criminals and drug addicts. And she was arrested, remember, on charges of visa fraud as she had allegedly given false details for her domestic helps visa. Here's what her father had to say.
What crime she has done? She is not a murderer, she is not a criminal. A so-called an agreement which was executed a year ago in Delhi, which is not even within the jurisdiction of the USA. For this agreement, if it was false, as they say, which is not, they arrest a young lady who is a diplomat. Then she was alone that day with my 2 grandchildren.
And NDTV's Namrata Abrar sent us this report from New York. She managed to speak to the State Department about the incident.
Responding to a questionnaire mailed out by NDTV, the US State Department has told me that the Vienna Convention was not violated with the arrest of Devyani Khobragade. According to them, under Article 43, diplomatic immunity is enjoyed by the Deputy Consul General only with respect to consular services or functions. They go ahead to say that all diplomatic security procedures were followed during the arrest. But on my question on why Devyani Khobragade was subjected to a humiliating strip search and why she was made to spend time in a cell with drug addicts, I'm still awaiting a response. This usually is a procedure reserved for the gravest of grave crimes, and under Article 41 of the Vienna Convention, you have to prove that a diplomat has conducted the same in order to arrest them and therefore also subject them to such indignity.